a clear question. A simple example might be an observation that you may be able to make right now. Assuming you are listening to this book while sitting quietly, use a watch or clock to count how many times you breathe in 10 seconds, then count how many times your heart beats in the same time. Then subject yourself to moderate exertion, for example by running upstairs a few times, and repeat the counts. You will find that your pulse rate and depth of breathing will have altered. That is a simple physiological observation. Someone making such an observation might then wonder whether the two changes, in breathing and in pulse, are causally connected, and might come up with a hypothesis about one being caused by the other. He might, for example, propose that faster breathing causes a faster pulse. This hypothesis is easy to test, and again, you can do it right now. Sit quietly again, for long enough that pulse and breathing have returned to normal after your temporary exertion. Then breathe rapidly for a short time, 5 seconds will be enough, and time your pulse again. Unless the experience of rapid breathing excited or frightened you in some way, which is unlikely, you will find that the fast breathing has not raised your pulse rate at all. Your experiment has therefore refuted the hypothesis. The example in the foregoing paragraph, though very simple, is a real physiological experiment and illustrates several important points. One is the natural sequence of observation leading to hypothesis leading to experiment. Another is the value of making comparisons. Values for pulse rate or rate of breathing after running upstairs would not have meant very much had we not already obtained their values when the body was at rest. What really mattered was not the absolute value, but the change from sitting to stair climbing or panting. It is very common in all biology to compare experimental data to something representing an unperturbed state, and this state is commonly called a control. A more subtle point is the value of planning an experiment that, if the result comes out a particular way, can prove a hypothesis wrong. This way of working may seem perverse when we aim to establish what is correct, but it is powerful. Proving an idea to be wrong can usually be done with certainty, and this produces a useful gain in knowledge by eliminating ideas from the range of possibilities that have to be considered. Proving an idea to be correct, on the other hand, is much more difficult. Imagine for a moment that the experiment had produced the opposite result, and breathing quickly while sitting had produced a faster pulse like the one seen when running upstairs. Would this have proved that breathing controls pulse? If your answer is yes, because the experimental result is compatible with the hypothesis, consider that the running upstairs and rapid breathing while sitting both involved willful action. Someone championing a hypothesis that pulse is raised whenever willful action takes place might have done exactly the same experiment, and the imagined experimental result would have supported her hypothesis just as much as the one about breathing controlling pulse. It is for this reason that experimental results that are compatible with the hypothesis do not generally prove that hypothesis to be right. There is usually a risk that they might support an alternative hypothesis as well, even if nobody has yet thought of it. Results that prove a hypothesis wrong give more certainty, and careful researchers therefore plan experiments that have the power to do this. The way that the experiment actually came out proved that raised breathing did not actually raise pulse, and eliminated at a stroke that idea from the set of all possible ideas about the control of the pulse rate. A final point made by the exercise is that there is an important difference between correlation, the changing of one thing with another, and causation. The mere fact that two features A and B are observed together does not mean that A causes B. It might be that B causes A, or that A and B are independent consequences.